friends, wonderful viewers, wherever you are. Welcome to Atlantic TV, the home of TV Revolution. Well, we are located in the little smiling coast of Africa, the Gambia, as Gambia smiles. Of course, like I always said, we want you to visit and get the Gambian hospitality. You watching out there in the globe, come to Gambia with open arms. Will show you our hospitality. And I know it's very, very, very cold out there in the west. So there we are. And of course, we are lucky again to be located in the West Coast region side of Gambia, where our studios is West Coast region, Combo South, here in Farato. Welcome to another edition of your exclusive interview. My name is Bakary, Manneh, fondly called Big Sam, the host of this program. And I will always say, we bring people of all walks of life in this program to let them tell their story. Let them share what they want, and at the end of the day, we can also learn or change the narrative for that matter. So today we are going back to the University of the Gambia, because there is an association called Pan-African Student Association, acronym PANASA. Well, with me in the studio, I have, of course, the president, Mr. Omar Sanyang, accompanied by the IPRO, who is Assan Sonko. Well, they'll be talking to you, us, and you out there about what they have and what that PANASA mean, and the forthcoming projects and program they have. Well, gentlemen, welcome to Atlantic TV. Omar, welcome to Atlantic TV.
Thank you very much, Big Sam, and I'm happy to be here today. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation, so we're a pleasure.
Thank you, Omar. And Assan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Uncle Sam. It's a great pleasure to be here. We are so grateful, to be invited on this program. Like you said, my name is Assan Sonko, the Information and Public Relations Officer of the University of the Gambia Pan-African Student Association, and as well as I'm a political science major in my third year of studies.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, you can come a little bit near the mic. Okay, you can sit.
Nice.
Okay, good. Well, that's fine. Thank you. Maybe and Omar too. You can come a little bit. Okay.
Right.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. All right, there's it. You hear from them, and these are the people from PANASA. But first and foremost, we do in this program traditionally, we will return you the mic to greet your people, the family, maybe your association members before we start the program. Omar.
Yeah, so we are greeting everybody that is watching us live, whether you're a Pan-Africanist or not. But as far as you're watching this program, we're saying thank you very much for catching us here.
And Assan?
Yeah, like you said, we greet our family members, especially my mom. I would say Na Isama, your boy is in the studio. And my dad as well, he's out there. He's a great man, doing wonderful out there for his family. And as well as to Amadou Oba. Amadou is exceptional.
Yeah.
All this week he told me, look, you'll have series of interviews.
And here you are.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a great pleasure to be here. And thank you so much, Uncle Sam.
Thank you. Ambo is a star. It's my SG. I always tell him, Sumal Amadou Damala download or my Google line. So no, the guy is good. Thank you. Anyway, moving on. Let's start with the IPRO, not the president, because you have all the information. Yeah. Who is Assan Sonko, born where, and a little bit of your education background?
Yeah, like I made mention of, I was born in Fajikunda. I was born twin, and I lost my twin brother immediately after our naming ceremony. My parents raised me within the Fajikunda. In fact, in Fajikunda Dumos, whosoever knows that place, that you know that it's very difficult for someone to make their way through, the education structures all the way to university. They first sent me to Dara. I attended Dara. From there I went to Arabic school up till until grade 9. Then I was doing English school alongside. At some point I dropped out of school, but my parents has to push me. Then I continued my schooling all the way to I went to many schools, almost eight schools. I went to almost 8
schools. Dumos,
yeah,
that's that's the real ghetto.
Exactly. I went to almost 8 schools,
Yeah,
and also they sent me to Alliance Franco. I was learning the French as well, so I can speak a little bit of French, Arabic, and English.
Wow.
So I'm so much and so grateful to them, and as well as to our colleagues at the university, especially the founders of the University of the Gambia Pan-African Student Association, Comrade Tony and others. They have been doing exceptional. Whenever we call on them for their support, they give us their support and their guidance until here we are today, that we are organizing a maiden conference that's going to bring together young people, not only in the Gambia here, but across Africa.
Okay, we will delve on that, but I mean, like you, from the primary school, let's talk about it for the meantime.
Yeah.
Yes, you go to many school. I know, from a ghetto boy to all that. So where do you end up? We want to know where you are right now, educationally.
I'm at the University of the Gambia right now, pursuing a degree in political science.
Political science.
Definitely.
Yeah, we don't want to see another. No, let me leave that part.
I know where you are going. I know you are going.
Let's just leave it there. Anyway, let's go to the president. Omar, give us a little bit of who is Omar, where you born, and the education about until where we are.
Yeah, so I am Omar Sanyang. I was born and brought up in the hearts of Fonyi. I am a Foninka, proud Foninka. And I was born and brought up in Fonyi in Demban, Fonyi Belfast district. Okay. That is where I have carried my formal education from primary, from nursery, primary, then to junior. Then I came to Farato, Mindao, to do my senior secondary education. And from there, final year, final semester student, political science at the university.
At the university, all political.
Yeah, also involved in series of activities because I'm also a human rights defender and activist, and currently the Secretary General of Gambian Sergeants Looted Assets, Gala.
Oh, Gala.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic fun. You talked about Fonyi benefit. In fact, we will be there this weekend for the Fonyi FAD sponsored.
Fonyi Agency for Rural Development.
Yeah, at the festival, which is going to be in Somita, right?
Yeah, on Saturday.
Yeah, inshallah. Commenting on Friday to Sunday.
Saturday.
Okay, that's so Saturday is the main thing.
The main day.
Is the main thing. Well, awesome, fantastic. Who might I start? Because I want my audience and viewers to know. What is Pan-African Student Association, PANASA? Can you guys, okay, you compare.
Yeah, the Pan-African Student Association, I think I will talk about how it came about.
Yeah, please, we want to know in depth.
There was a point in time when, our former comrades, now working in various institutions, they come to this, thinking that, okay, as African youths, it is ideal we have a platform where we are going to share, we are going to, discuss our shared values, views and principles as African people. And as university students, whom are in the highest institution of our country, whom are at the highest learning institution in our country, it is ideal we have an association where we will bring each other. University alone have many schools, more than 5 to 9 schools in fact. Okay, so where we can have we can bring various students from all these schools to see our views on how to shape the future for the African youth, because when you look at it currently, the African youth, the ordinary African youth is facing a lot of difficulties within the continent and even in the African diaspora. So we deem it is important and necessary for us to come together and have a platform where we can engage each other within the country, in the continent, and as well as in the African diaspora, because African students are in the African diaspora, like in Europe, in America, in Asia, where they are doing their studies, and even some are even living there, working. So it's ideal we bring each other to see our share values and views of what the future holds for the African youth, not only the youth, but African in general. That was the motive behind forming the association. So it was formed some time back, about 4 to 5 years ago. That's why we, the one sitting here, are part of the 4th Executive Council.
Oh,
yeah.
4th Executive.
Exactly.
And the acronym is PANASA.
It's PANASA.
Mr. President, yes, we also want you to share PANASA, that is the Student Union, for my viewers.
Yeah, so
and some history behind it.
Yeah, so 500 years ago, there was slavery and slave trade in Africa.
Sure.
So when slavery and slave trade was abolished because of the, I normally said this, slavery and slave trade was not abolished because they deem it as inhuman. They abolished it because there was industrialization. So that is the industrial revolution that was happening in Europe and some part of the world.
Okay.
So they deemed it necessary to abolish the slave trade. But now, when they abolish the slave trade, they need to feed their industries. So feeding those industries, they have to come down to the African people and exploit them, because we all know that Africa, it's a land of mineral resources. So when the slavery and slave trade was abolished in 1884, European leaders met at Berlin. So when they met at Berlin, they shared and divide Africa. So that is where the partition of Africa comes in. The British has their share, the French has their share, the Belgians has their share, the Portuguese has their share, and some other European superpowers has their share. So they controlled and colonized Africa. They took the mineral resources and take it to their lands and process it into finished goods. So Pan-Africanism started somewhere in America, where the likes of W.E.B. Du Bois and his comrades, where it was formed. It was first a civil rights movement, that fighting for the black slaves who were taken to America, and later slavery and slave trade was abolished, and those people were living there. So because they were the minority, so the likes of Du Bois were also part of the minority. So they formed a civil rights movement that advocates for the right of Africans in diaspora. So that is where Pan-Africanism evolves. They have their conferences, and now the message is now a global movement, where everybody within, or the movement is both found in Africa and in diaspora. So coming to after independence, we still see that, okay, colonialism is done because our people fought for it. They fought against colonialism, and we regain our independence like 100 years ago. So our people now see, okay, the problem is they are not colonizing us now, but what they are doing is they are mentally colonizing us. They left halfway, but they are still here. That is why, as a student of history, they will tell you that Kwame Nkrumah one time said that the imperialism or the imperialist will never go. Instead, they introduced the new colonization. So that is where they are going to come down to the people of Africa, exploit us, and still take our mineral resources to feed their families or to feed their industries. And they also introduce mechanisms, institutions like IMF, like the World Bank, to continuously dominate the African people in their own land. So PANASA, as a student association founded at the University of the Gambia, was formed by, like what Assan said, Comrade Tony F. Manneh. He's currently a clerk at the National Assembly, a committee clerk at the National Assembly. But the people who first formed the association that is called the Pan-African Student Association. So the association, it's formed because we want to spread the message that the likes of Du Bois and the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Emery Lumumba, you know, Sekou Touré, and of course Edward Francis Small, because you will not do justice if you do not, mention his name, but like the words that they were saying, and also trying to emancipate the African people from mental colonization. So that was the main reason why the association was formed. So it was formed because we all know that being a Pan-Africanist in this country or in the continent has a lot of bad connotations. First, they will tell you, oh, you're a Pan-Africanist, for instance. Maybe someone out there is saying, Omar is a Pan-Africanist and he's wearing a cap, for instance. Right? Assan is wearing a white button shirt.
Yes.
You know? But thinking or not knowing that Pan-Africanism is not against globalization.
Yeah, sure.
You know, and okay, they are Pan-Africanists. What are they doing in Europe, for instance? Forgetting that Pan-Africanism itself as a movement started somewhere in Europe. So we just have to face all these. But just like I said, the association was formed to totally emancipate the African mind in their own African land, to make sure that the African mind is conscious of some of the things that happened and to take responsibilities of their destiny.
Yeah, we can say, the imperialist state, because most of the countries in Africa are independent and dependent.
Yeah.
You're talking about IMF.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody will need IMF. Give us a whole chunk of grant, or I mean, all this money. So something like that. I mean, I think this is something that we need to. All right, moving on. Here, I mean, IPRO still problem. I want you to tell us all about your program or project that you intend to do at the university or around the Gambia.
Thank you very much, Uncle Sam. Like I made mention of, there are many challenges the African continent is currently facing. That is Pan-Africanism itself.
Okay.
That is the borderless or the border restriction, human rights violations, and lack of youth participation in politics. If I will give a little bit explanation to each of these topics,
Yeah.
the reasons why we choose these topics, you come to realize that there is the Pan-Africanism is lacking within the continent. When you look at the recent happening in across Africa, like the overthrow, the way the junta leaders are overthrowing legitimate governments, democratic government. Even though some people believe that most of those governments are not delivering to the expectations, but the way the junta leaders seize power, and the way the other African countries or other African leaders react to the situation, it shows that there is a lack of Pan-Africanism. Remember, Pan-Africanism is a movement or ideology of unity, solidarity for the better future of African people. So if we have people that wake up overnight and take power without other African leaders coming together to see how best they can tackle those situations, it is raising a very big alarm of Pan-Africanism. For example, when the legitimate government of Niger, when the junta leaders came up and remove Bazoum and take power, the ECOWAS, they stood up to fight against the junta leaders so that they can reinstate the legitimate government.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we have seen one of the African leader whose country serve as a beacon of democracy in Africa, that is former President Nana Akufo, withdraw Ghana's position, of which many countries follow their footsteps, Ghana's footsteps, and also started withdrawing, even though some of them did not formally withdraw, but they withdraw their commitment. And the people of Niger were left standing at a point that no one can even explain.
Helpless.
They were helpless because their legitimate voice was not they did not have that support to reinstate their legitimate government,
Yeah.
which raised a very big alarm. The other issue is when you look at the issue of the borderless Africa, there is a border restriction across Africa, and it is one continent. Now, when we talk about borderless Africa, we are not saying to remove that citizenship.
Okay.
Like everybody, so long as you are African, you don't need a citizenship or you don't need to hold an identity card of a particular state or so. But we are saying that there should be no or little restriction to the movement of people of the people of Africa across the continent.
Yeah.
This entails, when it comes to communication. Communication is about transport and how we, communicate, issues.
Yeah.
For example, look at the case of Nigerians in South Africa. Because of the xenophobia, that's why Nigerians were, set to fire and they were burned to, ashes. Why? Because of that, this colonial power set that border and that border ideology that this particular individual does not belong here. When you look at times, it's easy for us to travel to Europe than to other parts of Africa.
Yes, sometimes you don't even risk it.
Yes, I can sit here and apply for a French visa. Once I get that French visa, I can travel to many countries within Europe because of the the European Union. Exactly.
Yeah, you can.
So you see, I am not even European citizen. I am an African citizen. But once I get one second visa, I can travel to all these
single countries.
You understand? Yeah. So these are the things we want to discuss. We want to invite our fellow youths across the continent to come and talk about some of these things, because we are not future. We don't look at ourselves as future leaders, but the present leaders of tomorrow as well.
And IPR, when is this going to happen?
This is going to happen Saturday. This Saturday coming.
This Saturday is on the 24th.
Yes.
at the
law school. Sorry, at the law faculty.
Law faculty in
Kanifing, exactly.
Okay.
In Kanifing.
So it will be very important for people to come out.
Yeah. Well, we open an application.
Okay.
Yeah, because of that is because of the venue and the logistics.
Online.
But online, yeah, we will invite TVs that so that whosoever is not able to come or did not apply or before the application, then the application was closed. We'll want for them to follow online because we are going to discuss a lot of things here. Like I said, we are going to invite people from across the African continent, youths that will come and so that we can have this dialogue. Now, when you look at the issue of human rights violations, just this week we have seen a country in Africa where a young man stood up to a regime or to the incumbent who have been in power for many years, and this is not the first time him contesting against the incumbent, but we have seen how he was disturbed. It is no secret to anyone whosoever is following the international politics, especially in that country.
Yeah.
His right to campaign was violated. He was restricted to go on and do campaign, even though he will be out in the streets. But we have seen military leaders, blocking his way, and many other things. We have seen many politicians who have been exiled, and so forth. Even the Gambia, we can take example of some of our political leaders. So these are the things we want to bring, young people together to discuss.
Discuss about it, to bring
a continent of which the future is not prepared. Is a continent of failure. It's a continent that is set to fail. So that's why we want to we are organizing this program to bring each other to talk about these things. How do we tackle them? How do we not allow them to repeat? These are the things
that you want.
But I think my president here, he's
the president here
more on some of these things.
Yeah, of course. Because I want Omar to give you more highlight the day, the time, and maybe if you have a team for the program and what we need to. Omar, we can allow you also to give us in depth because my viewers want to know.
Yeah. So it's going to be 24th, just like what Assan said, and it's going to be at law faculty. So it's very important. We have series of themes that we are going to discuss, series of panel discussions. Assan touched something that is first, we will have a borderless Africa discussion, because in 1984, when the Maponga Joshua will said 15 white boys sat at Berlin to divide and petition Africa, and 54 of our African leaders cannot bring it together. So we are going to discuss the issue of the borderless Africa there, because it's very important. It's very crucial that the issue of borderless Africa, the campaign should be intensified both in Africa and in African diaspora, both in Africa and Africans that are also in Europe. This should be an intense campaign, because at the end of the day, we should be able to have free movements of goods and services from both Africans and non-Africans. So it's easier for us to get that campaign done if you have this proper campaign. So another thing is we are also going to discuss human rights. So but before going there, the issue of borders Africa, we will have a panel discussion, and Hadi Yakubu, he's a Ghanaian, is going to be with us. He's the current coordinator of African Risings, an international intercontinental institution that is fighting for a borderless Africa. So Yakubu is going to be with us to talk to us about borderless Africa,